Hi, everybody. Heath Criswell here with the Prospect Times, joined uh, by Jeff Hewitt. Jeff, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. How you doing, Heath?
I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain. Hey, episode five. We're
Yep.
5 episodes in. Kind of hard to believe that it's already been 5 episodes, to be honest with you. Um,
Time flies when you're having fun.
no, it really does, especially here recently as a Ranger fan. There's been quite a few things happen since our last podcast. I know deGrom was signed, which we did touch on. And then, of course, the winter meetings happened. Um, Rangers signed Andrew Heaney. Did I get that right?
Good job, good job.
To a 2 year, I think $25 million
Yep.
deal. And then the Rule 5 draft took place. So we're going to go over all that in this episode. I guess we'll start with Jacob deGrom, since he's, the big fish, the one that everybody seems to be most excited about. What do you think of the introductory press conference?
I think it was amazing that the one that caught my eye is Bochy. He came out saying, we know that our team's not gonna win 100 games and all this stuff, but he came in here with the attitude, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna be doing this. And, it caught everybody's attention. Like this man gets it. He didn't come out of retirement just to play for a 500 ball team.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Chris Young, I think, has done a pretty good job of selling the Rangers to everybody, really, because I think, besides the $37 million a year, that's why deGrom is here. But yeah, I would agree with you. I was probably mostly impressed with Bochy as well. I definitely liked a few of his quotes. One, this isn't a direct quote, but he said, "Don't tell me we can't win." Um, as part of one of his quotes, and I don't know, I loved that because we're kind of hearing that right now. You know, everyone that's not a Ranger fan doesn't see the Rangers as, and I guess I can understand their reasoning for it, but nobody sees the Rangers as being contenders. It seems, as far as other fan bases go.
It, I can't wait. I'm curious how he's going to fill out the rest of his coaches, because he's still got first base um, first base coach. He still has a is he still has a hitting coach, don't he? He still has is Bobby Wilson going to come back for that, or
I think Bobby Wilson is the catching coordinator coach, isn't he?
okay, bullpen.
Yeah, that I don't know. I just know the main guys, like Mike Maddox. Yeah, that's the one I'm most excited about,
Yeah,
to be honest with
and
you.
Tony Beasley coming back.
Yeah, well, yeah, but Mike Maddox, game planning, with these pitchers. I mean, that's the other thing too. Not only do we add Jacob deGrom, who's really the best when healthy. Everybody, that's like a must
By
say
far.
line when
Yeah,
you talk about deGrom right now, is when healthy,
when
um,
healthy.
he's the best. Really, the
And
Rangers.
don't care.
Right. So, I mean, if deGrom can stay healthy, with I just can't wait to see what he can do with the Rangers, who have one of the better infields, not necessarily the best, but one of the better in baseball, I would say. With Corey, uh, Simeon, and
Nathaniel Lowe
Nathaniel Lowe. I was going to say
and Josh
Nathan or Nate
Westbury.
Lowe, but yeah,
No, no,
exactly, and
his
and
mom's
get
gonna
a
be mad at
yeah, get a full season of Young too. Hopefully. So, um, I don't know. I think deGrom is definitely, gonna add something to this pitching staff, of course. That goes
He's gonna
without
be the
saying, but
first. He's gonna be the first time we've had an ace since Cole Ham. I mean, he started the season. He'll be the first. He's the first one since Cole Hamels, I think, or you Darvish, or the them two. But after that, it's been one pitcher, another different pitcher, another different pitcher, another different pitcher. We never had a true ace or a stopper that, let's say, if we get a 3 game losing streak, here comes deGrom. Well, we're gonna win this one, so we won't get to a 4 game losing streak. That's the thing with Cole Hamilton was the Darvish is we get into a little minor streak, losing streak, boom, they gonna come up when they come up time pitch, they're gonna win. So that helps a lot when you ain't got
well,
a long losing streak.
yeah, and hopefully he'll get run support as well. That's been one thing too. In previous years, certain pitchers, and you just see it in the minors too. But certain pitchers, I don't know what the reasoning is, but it seems like the lineup kind of relaxes a little bit more than than what they should at some
Which is
times.
wrong.
When certain pitchers are, but then again, sometimes the other team is throwing their ace, at the same
That's
time
it.
that that yours
Yep.
is going up as well. So I don't
Yep.
know, man. I know that with this slider, I did like that one question. I can't even remember which reporter asked it about the slider. And then he had that smirk, like, yeah, that's a pretty much untouchable,
I can't
or unhittable pitch.
I can't remember who that was that did that.
But I mean,
I can't remember who answered that question.
yeah, I mean, what deGrom has done though over the past like 5 seasons, although it includes a couple of
Yeah.
stints
Injured.
on the injured list, yeah, but I mean, still throwing, 100, I think even touching 102 on the fastball. Um, the strikeouts per 9 innings has gone up the past, I think 5 seasons, except the last two, have
Mm-hmm.
each been 14.3 strikeouts per 9 innings. That'll be nice to see. Something that we
That was
need. I mean,
amazing.
you've got to have guys that can strike people out as well. The whip has been under one for the last 5 seasons as well. I believe it was. So um, just so many things to look forward to, with him being on the team. I will say, quite honestly, I am worried about the the injury aspect of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. I don't blame you. But Nolan Ryan said one time that you don't want a pitcher to strike out every single batter because you want a pitcher to get out, get a fly ball, get a ground ball. I mean, make an inning 9 pitches or less, or
Absolutely,
even
yeah.
or
You,
10 pitches or less.
you
And it'd
definitely
be
don't want
90
them.
if you do complete game. So
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. I mean, you go getting a little too. I don't know if this is really too cute as a pitcher, and wanting to like strike out all the guys. Because I mean, that's what you want to see from your pitchers. You want to see, them just striking guys out,
let's dominate. Yeah.
dominating. Absolutely. But you're right. I mean, that's at least 3 pitches per batter. Hardly ever an immaculate inning thrown, So it's one of
We
those
had
things.
two of them thrown against
I
us
know, but I'm
last
just
year,
saying.
which is sad.
the
We
but
didn't get
but
same in the same game.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it happened against the Rangers, obviously.
Oh yeah.
So, but I'm just saying, you're right. You don't want them striking out every batter. Um, so I definitely agree with you there. Now, of course, kind of going into the next thing a little bit is since we're kind of addressing the starting rotation right now, they signed Andrew Heaney or Heaney, however you say it, to a 2-year deal. I think so. 2023 is going to break down, I think, 12 million a year plus
12 million
incentives,
plus incentives.
and then 2024 would
It's
be
13 plus
13
incentives,
plus incentives, but he does have
a
an
five hundred
opt-out.
thousand dollar payout.
Yeah, and then 500,000. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see how that goes. But again, he's got, he comes along with the injury, baggage as well, pretty much. I mean, the risk is there for every pitcher, really, but it's, I don't know. My preference would be to get another, either of Rodon or Singa in here, but with the payroll pushing, near 200 million after all these, that's the estimated amount after
Right.
the arbitration um, players, then I don't know. I think the Rangers are done with the starting rotation, at least signing wise. Keep in mind, we're still, probably exploring trades would be my guess at this point, possibly even for, one of the corner outfield spots as well.
Well, I was surprised there wasn't one single trade pulled off during the winter meetings. This had to be a first because
Yeah, yeah, I mean, really overall, I guess it was a slow winter meeting, really, because we signed deGrom prior to the winter meeting starting, because that was last Friday. And then the winter meeting started on Sunday. And then, we signed Heaney, and yeah, and then of course the Rule 5 draft happened, the last day on Wednesday, and then of course deGrom was introduced yesterday
yeah.
on Thursday. So yeah, kind of a
Well,
slow winter meeting overall.
yeah. Well, what I loved when I hear it was Brown said, "I can't wait to get into uh, Mike Matthews, Mac Maddox. Come on, Jeff. His brain, his pitching brain. He can't wait to see what he can install in me or tell me something different. He said, I can't wait to get to surprise to get going. So that really got my attention because you don't want nobody. Oh, I don't want nobody to tell me what to do because I've already said I done did this for so many years. But when he said that he wanted to get into Mike Maddox's brain, that's what that like. Oh wow, this is a rare opportunity.
Well, and uh, he also considered Maddox as well. Him being hired in his decision, I believe. I mean, all of it had some sort of, at least a small part in it. But I mean, who doesn't want to pitch for Bruce Bochy or Mike Maddox? But yeah, you're right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Mike Maddox is a really good pitching coach. I mean, to me, I was disappointed when he left originally. You know, stoked to have him back. I just can't wait to see, what he's able to do with the staff, and really, obviously the Rangers are betting on these guys' health, and that's the main thing. Just the guys staying healthy. If everybody can stay healthy, then then maybe we do push for one of the wild card spots. I could see that happening if everybody stays healthy. Now that's the tough part is rarely does that happen. I mean,
Right.
through 162 games, you're gonna have some sort of injuries, but the the rotation as it looks today is definitely better than what it was. And I think a lot of other fan bases, look and don't consider that, and still think we're going to lose all those one-run games that, you know, I don't see that
Bochy will have
repeating
Bochy
itself.
will that won't happen with Bochy. I don't think it will.
No,
With Woodard, yes, I can see. I mean, what they always say: if you got two quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. Then, well, we had two pitching coaches, and so that tells me you didn't have a pitching coach because you had two of them.
yeah, I didn't really understand that. Yeah, I'm
I
guessing one
don't.
of
I
them was
don't.
in charge of game planning. The other was, I don't know how they broke that down, but yeah, to me, hey, one pitching coach, one man. Even though I know we have an associate manager now, we all know who's in charge.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, we definitely do.
so, But yeah, I mean, I guess going back to, deGrom being introduced, yeah, Bochy definitely impressed me. And I know the fans are just gonna, uh, you know, love him more than they even do now, is my guess. Now things will have to go right as well, but I think we've got the right guy to lead the team, to be honest. Because like you said, that number of one run losses doesn't happen if Bochy is the manager, you know. And I also think too that he's going to have a little bit more control than a different manager would have been able to have, rather than some analytic, you know uh number saying, hey, this guy's who you should match up with. I don't necessarily think that's how Bochy is gonna go with that. You know what I mean? He's gonna go with his gut. He'll use the information. I mean, he's stated several times that he does look at analytics, but he's also gonna, go off of the situation as well, and not necessarily what the analytics say.
Well, with the new shift rule that you can't have two infielders on the same or three infielders on the same side, that's going to help a lot. That's going to mean that's going to keep them back with their normal playing position. So that's going to help a whole lot with the pull hitters and all that. That'll cut down your your decision making.
Yeah,
Because Bochy didn't do shifts when he was managing when he was managing the Giants because they didn't have shifts back then, so he doesn't. So he never do it.
I just know that us playing them, and of course, I hate to bring up a World Series, but I mean, to me, the 2010 World Series, the Rangers
That
didn't
they
really
don't.
have a chance, in that. We couldn't
No.
we couldn't match, our lineup just couldn't match up with their pitching was just too good, and that's, to me, that's Bruce Bochy's specialty, is in the like pitching department, because even their offense wasn't, they didn't have the lineup that Texas had. Um, you know, so they had the pitching, and that's how they won.
Yeah.
You know, um, so that's where he's really going to come into help. I think so. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Is I mean, Bochy, going back to the one run games, there's just no way that happens with him in charge. He ain't gonna leave a pitcher in into a game where he's given up 7 runs in 2 innings. Um, yeah, that's just not going to happen with him.
Well, what the okay, he's gonna sit there. Well, they still have the you have to face three batters. They still have that rule. So that's a no brainer. I mean, you have to face three batters regardless. So, but he's not going to let a pitcher get there and then take one for the team. He's just going to say, "Come on, come on." No, well, I think half of it will be up to Mike Maddox too, because he's going to tell Moshe, "Hey, let's go ahead and pull him," because I mean he's got pitch count. No, he's got
Yeah,
100 pitches, so time to
yeah,
pull him. But it's time to me. It's time to take the kid's gloves off of Dave Dunning. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's 2 years now that he can't pitch. When he gets to fifth inning, okay, let's go ahead and pull him. But he doesn't even have 70 pitches. It's time to go ahead and let's see what you got, kid.
yeah. I mean,
So
this definitely could be the year for that. I mean, so I guess so the rotation right now, I've seen it a few different ways, because I guess it depends on how you're wanting to, like break up the lefties and whatnot. But so it's deGrom, and then John Gray, Martin Perez, Andrew Heaney, and then was it Jake
okay,
Odorizzi.
yep.
So I mean, that fifth spot will probably likely come down to spring training. And then it kind of be a revolving door, unless the person in spring training who wins the job out of spring, keeps it, which could be Odorizzi. my preference, just looking on paper, would be for him to come out of the pen. So maybe, yeah, you do put Dunning in there, but I guess it will come down to spring training. But the other guys are pretty much stuck where they're at,
Yeah.
because at this point, as we've already mentioned, I just with the payroll pushing 200 million at this point, I don't know that the Rangers are making a play at either Rodon or Singa at this point. So I think this is the rotation that we're looking at. You know, um, and again, a lot of it, was the big bet on the health of these guys. Um, if there's not a concern there, and we can avoid, major injuries, I do think this rotation can, take us to a wild card spot. I'm not necessarily saying that, we're going to the World Series this year, although I have been on record saying 2024 would be the year for us. I'm going to stick with that. Um, I don't know that I necessarily see it, this year or 2023, but 2024 I could see it, because you're right. We've got after Dunning, there's Glenn Otto, Spencer Howard. As you said, prior, they haven't given up on him yet. And then, we've got guys in the Reagan's. He's there as well. So,
Yeah.
and then, you've got Owen White.
You got the cavalry coming up. You got Old White,
Yeah,
Zach
absolutely.
Pitt. Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, we're gonna be. I mean, we're not gonna be what was it with Maddox and Glavin, Smoltz, and Avery with the Atlanta Braves. Well, we're not gonna have that kind of pitching staff right now, but I mean, we always try.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you definitely do that. I don't know, and I think things could play out too to surprise people as well. I'm really not. Sometimes I feel like I can, maybe sound, like I'm being negative as far as the injuries go. The Rangers did their homework on these guys. I really don't think if there was a major concern that they would have signed them. Or at least to the length of time for deGrom, with that 5 years, six possible with the option. Um, so I really don't think there's a huge concern there with that. But yeah, this rotation could surprise people. They have potential, but I can see where people are concerned that we're not going to get the innings out of these guys.
once we get into our bullpen, that's gonna be the biggest issue. Is who's gonna be the next man up in the bullpen? Who's gonna be the who's gonna be the pitcher that's gonna get the starter out of the bases loaded issue or 2 men on, 1 out? And who's gonna be that first person coming out of the bullpen to do that? Last
Yeah.
year it was um I can't think of it. Oh gosh, I should. Who was it? He's a free agent now, but well, I'm go ahead. I mean, I can't think of his name.
free agent now. Man,
Yeah,
I
he's
can't
free
even I
agent.
can't think of it either. Oh,
Oh,
was it Matt Moore is who you're
Matt Moore,
thinking of?
thank you.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah, I think that they'll re-sign him. I don't know why they haven't done it yet, to be honest. You would think that would be a pretty easy deal to get, or I don't know, maybe he's, wanting more than what the Rangers are wanting to give as well. I don't know. But yeah, he was fantastic last year. I think that, you probably do want to at least re-sign him, because you're right. I mean, you're going to need bullpen help to, get the starting pitcher out to close the games. You've got to have people to close out these close games that you're going to have out of 162 games, you know.
But see, that's what got Houston their championship. They had the starters get at least 6 innings. Then after that, it's pitcher after pitcher after pitcher after pitcher, and then they had Presley at the end that closed it out. They had Montello, who used to be a Ranger, former Ranger. He was the eighth inning pitcher. Then
Oh
you had
yeah, yeah, Montero, yeah.
he has basic or whatever his name is, with the attitude with the long hair dude, and so they had it all lined up. So I mean, your starters going to get you so far, and after that it's bullpen.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
bullpen. That's a bullpen. So I don't know. I mean, the way it's set up right now, we're not going to get shut out as far as our offense because there should be no shutouts this year.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it, although they haven't really addressed the offense, I guess we are, according to, news out there, we're, looking for I guess a corner outfield, I
Quarter
guess.
outfield, yeah.
Whether we get one of the remaining free agents, I don't know, maybe bringing Gallo back on a, kind of a prove it 1 year deal. I think that's all they're looking for anyways. Boris and Gallo is a 1 year deal. So I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
where the
That's
Rangers
my
are.
call. 1 for 15. That's the number I saw was 1 for 15.
Well, see, and then that goes to me, that goes back to the payroll too, because I don't know how much more, the Rangers ownership is going to be willing to, to go over. Because you hit 233, you're going into luxury tax there, I
Yeah.
think, somewhere around that at least. So I mean, if you still sign, Matt Moore, I don't know how much, he would take, but if you think of that in all the arbitration players and then signing Gallo, if it took a, 15 million, that's you're closer to the luxury tax there. So
Yeah.
it's, yeah,
Well,
I don't.
I don't see any of our players winning big money arbitration deals because I don't think they have
Yeah,
the
I don't.
numbers to back it. So
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there, but I guess it's more of, with it already being projected of 200 million, if you add
yeah,
15 million, that's 215 million, so it doesn't leave a whole lot of room to, that's kind of why I'm saying, I think the pitching is done. I think this is our starting rotation, or at least for the fifth spot, you're looking at, the competition between Odorizzi, Dane Dunning, and, guys like that, for that fifth spot.
Reagan.
This is our rotation. I, I I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. But I don't think we're, in the sweepstakes anymore for Rodon or Singo, in my opinion.
I don't think so. Either. I don't. I think that's. I'm surprised that he's still out there. I'm surprised they didn't know he was the last deal at the
Well,
Winter Meetings.
yeah, and I think too though that people, fans in general, to me, I don't think always keep in mind or think it's a big deal as far as the draft picks go. Because Rodon comes with a a draft pick
Yes, the
attached to
draft
him.
pick. Yes,
So I do think that that's part of his not being signed yet. That's a factor there, but also I've heard too that he's, I think, wanting like 7 years or something. So he might be holding off for that. I don't know that I would go 7 years. I mean,
well, deGrom set the market. So
yeah, but deGrom is an ace too. I mean, there's no one better than him, you know, even Rodon. I mean, he's just not. So, I mean, while he sets the market, yeah, he is different from everybody else though. So Rodon can't really compare himself. He is younger, but it's the numbers, deGrom's just so much better. He's, obviously get a command. And really, to be honest with you, I think deGrom, um, people will probably disagree with me here too. I think he could have probably gotten into the 40 millions had there not been injury concern,
that
for the average value, as well. You know, um, People may not agree with that. That's just my thinking on it. But I mean, 37 million per year is enough,
you
in
can't
my
compete against that.
opinion. But I think because Verlander got what the Max Scherzer money as far as the
Yeah,
the
right
average,
below his money.
yeah. So I mean, I think Degrom, had there not been as much concern, I think he could have gotten that same amount, to be honest with you. Now, hey, let's talk too about the Rule 5 draft. I know the Rangers lost was it 4 players altogether. I think the main one that probably stings the most to me, and
Yeah,
probably you and every other
yeah,
fan, is right-hander Mason Englert from Forney. Looks like the Tigers. Actually, they did. The Tigers selected him in the first round of the Rule 5. So he is now listed on their 26-man roster. Tigers
as a
give the
bullpen.
Rangers.
I just looked it up. He is listed bullpen
Oh,
right
is
now.
he? Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, but he
yeah,
is on the active 26-man.
yep,
So,
yep.
we'll see. If he doesn't
And
stick,
he's the youngest
they can.
pitcher on the team too.
Yeah, if he doesn't stick, they can pass him through waivers. I think then if he clears, he's got to be offered back to the Rangers at that point, and then the Rangers can eh, buy him back for what, 50,000, I believe it
Yeah,
is. So
yep.
so yeah, that's gonna sting a little bit. He was part of the two, I think it was back-to-back starts
Back
that
to
he
back
had
no
where
hits.
it was a combined no
Yep,
hitter,
yep.
and that's kind of where, I think shortly after that is when he was promoted to Frisco.
To
Yeah.
Frisco,
So, and that's where I snapped that picture of him, doing
which is
the
awesome. I like
meditation.
that
Yeah,
picture.
that actually was my favorite picture or shot that I took this year.
Favorite pitcher on
And it
pitcher.
turns out, yeah, and it turns out that he used it, for those shirts and sweaters. I thought that was pretty cool. So he must have liked it too. Hopefully, he'll stick with that since he's no longer, in the Rangers organization. Um,
I think he'll come back.
yeah.
I think he
Well,
will.
I mean, there is the option for his sake. I hope he does, and I hope he does
Oh
well
yeah,
with
I mean
them.
I'm being greedy. Sorry, but
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, everybody's like, oh, well, hopefully he could come back. Well, yeah, as much as I want to say yes, I want him back, I really don't, because that means that he's done well, which is now. So the other thing too, is there's some players that were, or at least Jack's Biggers, I know is playing in the Australian,
Australia League, yeah.
yeah, Australian
Uh, League, I saw
and
his numbers today that he had a 306 batting average, 709 OPS, and a 403 OBS or OBP. So that's good numbers. Keelan Rodriguez is down there. So he's the infielder from Hickory. He's hitting 254 with 381 slugging and 260 on base. And then you have down east pitcher, Josh Gessner. He's 22 years old. He's 0-2 with a 13 ERA, so that doesn't look good right now. But that's the only 3 right now that I've seen, and it's hard as heck to go find them on the Winter League teams.
well, yeah,
So, but I think
that's kind of like on the, like, if you go look at, the Dominican League too. I mean, you kind of have to know who you're looking for sometimes they can be hard to find as far as the players. And I guess next episode we'll probably talk about give the latest update as far as the Dominican Winter League too.
yeah.
And the Puerto Rican um, league as well. We'll give an update as well in our next
The
episode.
Rangers did resign 3 free agents from their minor league system.
That's
Nick
right. That
Snyder,
was done right
who's
before we
Nick,
started recording. Yeah.
Nick Snyder, who's throws 100 miles per hour every single pitch. Lucas Jacobson and David Garcia. So
Nice to have
he,
those guys back. Hey, Nick Snyder, yeah, he was kind of another one of those relievers that really impressed me, in Frisco. I always came away impressed with him. So definitely glad to have him back. Obviously, I think he's, not going to be in Frisco, likely in Round Rock, would be my guess. I think that
But
that's
the players we lost in the Row 5 draft is Steph Norton, right-handed pitcher we lost into the Twins, Josh Stowers, who makes top 10 plays in the outfield every single game.
oh
Somehow
yeah,
over the fence, sliding, throwing somebody
yeah.
out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And to be honest with you, he was one of my favorites to watch in Frisco. You know, I to be honest with you, I was kind of surprised that he was selected, but he does have power. He's got speed, and like you said, the defense. I mean, I in my article that we put out on the Prospect Times, I'd mentioned his defense. It's basically like highlight reels out there, when he's out there. So we'll see. Now they were selected in the minor league portion
Yeah,
of
minor league
the
portion of the
draft,
Row
so they
5
don't
draft.
have to be added on to the active
Nope.
roster. So these
They don't.
guys,
They
we
don't.
we
They don't come back to us.
yeah, so these guys, we're not going to see them. Chances are in the majors, unless something is going absolutely right for them. Stowers maybe,
A
because
defensive placement
yeah,
and a
but
base stealer.
yeah, so these guys are going to be stashed in the
Yeah.
minors as
Also,
well.
catcher Randy Fortino went to Baltimore,
That's right.
and
Yeah,
yeah, also Texas also made a roster move with Heaney coming on. They DFA AJ Alexi. So
yeah,
the last player from U Darvish.
that's right. Yeah, you're absolutely right on that. So Willie Calhoun, and then
Brandon Davis, the
Brendan
shortstop,
Davis, yeah, and then
and then AJ
AJ
Alexi.
Lexi. That's right. How
Yeah,
about that?
he got released today, so
Well, I mean, we'll see if another team picks him up. I mean, it's possible the Rangers could re-sign him to a minor league deal, So we'll see.
I'm surprised there haven't been that many moves yet. As far as all that whole list of names that were free agents in the minor league, I'm surprised they haven't like DeMarcus Evans. I haven't seen anything on him, and I hope he comes back. I mean, that's that's my boy. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
when
I
he
know
was younger, that's my guy.
you're a huge
But
DeMarcus
Marcus Evans
Evans
fan,
fan.
yes, I
Absolutely.
am.
I like him too.
But
He's a good guy.
no, that's really basically all that's as far as the transactions that the Rangers had. But there's one
We're
good news is go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. One good news that the out of the winter meetings we moved up on the draft.
That's right. Yeah, I can't believe that I forgot to mention. I can't believe that I forgot to mention because yeah, we were going to do have the seventh pick and moved up to the fourth pick. So, hey Jeff, before we end this, tell people where they can find you on Twitter.
You can find me at Jeff Hewitt at Aggie Milkman 17.
All right.
Um,
Appreciate it, Jeff. Thanks again for joining along with me. And until next time, everybody, keep swinging for the fences.